All right, guys, in this lesson, we're going to go over a couple of different things. We've already touched on polygons in the first semester, talking about concave and convex polygons. But the new stuff here that we're going to focus on for these questions has to do with the regular polygons. So that is a convex polygon that is both equilateral, so all sides are congruent, and equiangular, all angles are congruent. And then really focusing on these last two theorems, the polygon interior angles theorem, where the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex n-sided polygon is n minus 2 times 180 degrees. And then finally, same thing with the polygon exterior angles theorem, the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex polygon, one at each vertex, is 360 degrees. So those are the kind of the two new things we'll be using in some examples today. All right, so let's start with the first one. It says find the measure of the missing angle. So for this one, when I look at it, all right, we see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different angles. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that understanding of the fact that if I have however many sides, right, so however many sides, minus 2 times 180 degrees, that will give me the sum of my interior angles. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides, which is 5 times 180, which is going to be, I believe, 900 degrees. Okay, so that is the sum of the interior angles, but I'm missing one here, so I'm going to add up all of the other ones and subtract it from 900 degrees. All right, so I'm going to add up let's go least to greatest. 95 plus 110 plus 115 plus 125 plus 155 and finally plus 170. So whatever that is, subtracted from 900 will give me that angle Z. So Z is going to be equal to, or I've kind of cheated since I've already done this in a different calculator, is going to be equal to 130 degrees. Okay, but hopefully you see the work that you'd have to do to figure out what Z is. So that's how you find the measure of that missing angle. Let's try number 2. All right, so finding the measure of the missing angles. First thing I notice is that I have this shape here, which has, in terms of sides, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So the sum of those interior angles using this formula is going to be 3 times 180 degrees, which is going to be 540 degrees. Now, one thing I do is I can find X already off to the side here, right? Because that is a 90-degree symbol. So if that's a 90-degree symbol, then X is also going to be 90 degrees, since this right here is a line. All right. Now, the other stuff I know is that this is 80. I can find this one. And then if those two are the same, I can use my understanding of 540 degrees to figure out what those missing values are, which will lead me to Y. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do 80 degrees. Let me do actually this first. Let me do 180 minus 82 degrees, which will give me that missing one here. All right, so that's going to be, let's see, 98 degrees. Okay. Have 98 degrees plus 80 degrees plus 90 degrees, and then plus, I'm just going to say 2, I'll just say 2a since I've already used X. That has to be equal to 540 degrees. Okay, so adding those together and then moving them over with subtraction, I have 98 plus 170. So 98 plus 170. 70, and then that is going to be subtracted from 540. All right, so 540 minus that. All right, which is 272. All right, so 2a is equal to 272. So if I divide both sides by 2, then I get a is 136. So each of those angles here is 136. Now I know we're still not there yet. I still got to find y. So my very last thing is to find y, which is supplementary with that 136. sum of the interior angles in a polygon is 3,240 degrees. How many sides does the polygon have? So the sum, that formula is n minus 2 times 180 degrees equals, in this case they gave me the sum of that, which is 3,240 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 180. So do 3240 divided by 180, which gives me 18. So that's equal to 18. So then the number of sides would be to move that minus 2 over with addition to get 20. So this has a 20-sided polygon. Okay, that's number 3. Let's try number 4. All right, now number 4 says to write a system and then solve for x and y. So first thing I notice when I look at this figure is I see these two angles, right, are going to be supplementary. So I'll go ahead and put those together. 6x plus 6 plus 4x plus 2y equals 180 degrees. Then I notice that we have a quadrilateral here with 4 sides. So this one, this one will all add up to 360. So 3x plus 10y minus 6 plus 7x plus 6x plus 6 equals 360. So I'm going to clean those up. Start with the first one here. So that's going to be 10x, and then I'll write plus 2y. I'm going to move that 6 over with subtraction to get 174. I'll do the same thing for the next one. That's 3x plus 7x plus 6x. That's 16x. And then there's only one y, so plus 10y. And then I have the minus 6 and the positive 6 make 0, so just equal to 360. Okay, now you got choices here. You could get the x's to have the same number or opposites to add or subtract to get rid of your variables. I'm going to eliminate the y's. The reason that I'm going to do that is because I can multiply these by 5, which would give me 10y, and then I'd be able to subtract to eliminate y. So I'm going to go and multiply that by 5 to get 50x plus 10y equals, and that's going to be 870. Multiply 174 times 5. Copy down to 16x plus 10y equals 360. I'm going to subtract. Remember, if you're doing this on your own, add. Just make sure you get opposites, right? We practiced that in the first semester. It's up to you, right? You guys are moving into Algebra 2, even if you're not a sophomore, or going to be a sophomore, and you should hopefully start to feel comfortable with subtracting integers. All right, so subtracting 50x minus 16x, that's going to give me 34x, and then that's going to be equal to 510. So dividing both sides by 34, that's going to leave me with x is 15. Okay, now it does ask for y also, so I'm going to choose, it doesn't matter which one you choose, but I'm going to choose this first one here, the 10x plus 2y equals 174, to figure out what y is. So 10x plus 2y equals 174, so 10 times 15 plus 2y equals 174, that's 150, plus 2y equals 174. Move the 150 over with subtraction. You get 174 minus 150, which is 24. So y equals 12. So x is 15 and y is 12. All right, that was a good one with a system. Okay, let's do the next one here. We have the measure of one exterior angle in a regular polygon is 30 degrees. How many sides does the polygon have? Well, hopefully you remember from the notes that the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex polygon, one at each vertex, is 360 degrees. So we have that all of this has to be 360 degrees when you add all of them. So if one angle is 30 degrees, I can divide by that one angle to tell me how many sides this polygon has. All right, so 360 divided by 30, the zeros cross out. 36 divided by 3 is 12, so this is a 12-sided polygon. You'll see I've already done number 6, so you can check out that key on Canvas. Let's do 2 more. I've already done number 9 as well down here. So let's do 7 and 8, and then we'll be finished. Okay, so number 7. How many sides does a regular polygon have if the measure of each interior angle, keyword there, interior, is 140 degrees? So I'm going to use that formula, n minus 2 times 180. All right, that's the sum of the interior angles. All right, I don't know what that is, all right, but I do know that one of the angles, all right, so each interior angle, all right, so if I were to divide this by n, right, divide that by n, that's the number of sides, I would get 140 degrees, okay? Because this up here in the numerator is the sum of the interior angles. If you divide that by the number of sides, then that should give you the measure of each interior angle. Now, to solve this, I'm going to move that n that's in the denominator over with multiplication to get 140n. Distribute the 180 to get 180n minus 360 is 140n. I'm going to move the 140n over with subtraction to get 40n. Move the minus 360 over with addition to get positive 360. Dividing by 40, the zeros cross out, so 36 divided by 4 is 9. So when it says how many sides, this has 9 sides. All right? Okay, last one. We're going to find the measure of these missing angles, the x, y, and z. Now, I'm going to use my understanding from the last theorem in those notes that the sum of the exterior angles, right, so these exterior angles, is going to be 360. So I'm going to write w minus 13 plus w plus 10 equals 360 degrees. This will allow me to find w first. So that's 3 w's. That is a negative 13 plus 10, which is negative 3. When you move it over with addition, you get 363. So w is going to be equal to 121. Okay? Now that will also allow me to find all the other ones. Probably the quickest one is to find x, because x plus 121 is 180. So x is going to be subtracting 180 minus 121, which is going to be 59 degrees. So that's x. To find y, I'm going to do 121 minus 13, right? And then plus that y to give me 180. So that's 121 minus 13, which is going to be 108. So y is going to be equal to 180 minus 108, which is going to be 72 degrees. And then my last one is z, which is the 121 plus 10 plus z equals 180. So 121 plus 10 is 131. So moving that 131 over with subtraction is 180 minus 131, which is going to be 49 degrees. Okay, and that's it, guys. That's all of them. Let me make sure. Yep, w, x, y, and z. So I got all of the missing angles here, my missing variables. There's